I'm probably a horrible parent in their eyes. Like, I think that his behavior, let's say my son Jonah, who's 6, like his behavior is a direct reflection on my success or failure as a mother.
Yes.
Do you feel that? Like, I absolutely feel that.
Welcome to the I Am Mother of the Year podcast, where we equip and encourage moms just like you to move from isolation, fear, comparison, and chaos to community, compassion, peace, and freedom. We're so glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Lisa.
And I'm Jen, and this is the I Am Mother of the Year podcast.
And I cannot control my kid. Let me say it again. I cannot control my kid!
I have a confession. I can't either. It's true.
Can you? Can you control your kid?
No. My guess is no.
No. And here's the problem. Sometimes we think we can, and so we try really hard.
And that you should.
Yeah.
You should be. You're the parent. Who's the parent here? Who's running your household? You should be absolutely able to control your kid.
No, you can't control your kid.
No.
We can't control other humans, right? This is the point we're going to make today. And if you're questioning this at all, just think about the last time you asked your kid to finish their plate at the dinner table.
One more bite. That's all it is.
Right.
It's a standoff.
Yes. Oh, and I haven't done it because I've learned from the wise mothers who have gone before me that like the standoff at the dinner table, you cannot leave this table until you clean your plate. Guess what you can't do? Force your kid to clean the plate. They don't know. They sit there for hours. And guess what? You just go to bed.
Right.
You have now lost the battleground. But what if we told you, you don't actually have to battle your children?
See, this is a problem for me, okay?
Okay.
We do a word of the year. We both share that.
Yeah.
My word of the year is based off of control, okay? Because I have a little teeny tiny issue with control. Just a little bit.
Control issues.
So my dedicated word to journey for this year is surrender. So I'm like, okay, on the surface, it's please don't touch your sister's face with chopsticks last night.
Right.
Please stop poking your baby sister in the face. Okay, did he stop? No. So on the surface, it seems like, oh, this is frustrating. It's a little inconvenient, obnoxious that you're not doing what I tell you. I'm your mom. You should listen to me.
Of course.
Below the surface, the deeper issue is like in other scenarios, especially when other people are present, I feel like embarrassed that I have zero control over my kid who's running around the parking lot like a psychopath. Like, I feel shame that I should be able to handle you.
And there's the word. Should.
Yes.
You should be able
Right?
to. And should is a shame word. And that is another topic for another time. And one of the many reasons why we launched the I Am Mother of the Year podcast. But oh my gosh, what if you believed that you do not have control over your kid and that was a good thing? Yeah, it's a good thing.
You just named it. Like, I don't have to do this. In fact, I should not. Like, I'm not going to do this.
Right.
Because there's a better way.
Yes, and the better way is when you get done with your day and you're at the end, you're laying in bed going, you're doing the highlight reel, the low light reel, the play-by-play, whatever you want to call it. Depends on how the day was, probably. If you were able to say, you know what, most of the time today, I controlled what I said, I controlled what I didn't say, I controlled what I did, and I controlled what I didn't do. That's a huge win.
Success.
That's victory.
Oh my gosh.
So to think that it takes you all the effort to do that for yourself, you're not expected to do that for your kid.
Right.
No,
but I feel like we're just trained in this.
We are.
We look at other parents and we're like, oh, well, their kid is so well behaved. They must be able to control them in a secret magical way that I can't. And what am I doing wrong? And then I care what other people think. And so I'm like, I feel judged that they if my kid is misbehaving for any moment of time, I'm probably a horrible parent in their eyes. I think that his behavior, let's say my son Jonah, who's 6, his behavior is a direct reflection on my success or failure as a mother.
Yes.
Do you feel that? I absolutely feel that. regularly.
Yes.
Then I'm like, they must think I'm maybe I am the worst mom. Like, I should be able to handle this situation better. So,
Right.
yeah, what if you were like, oh, wait,
No.
instead of trying to obsess over controlling them, you focus it inward. Start focusing on yourself, the only one you can actually control.
On a good day.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I read, it's been a year now that I've read this amazing book. I cannot recommend this enough. It's called Loving Our Kids on Purpose by Danny Silk, who is a rock star.
Just a genius.
Just so good. Like, so good. It freed me in this way so much because I'm still having trouble. I'm like, back in the day, I was having trouble with my child. No, I used to, like, every time my kid's in the room, right? And not to say I don't enjoy and love my children. Obviously, I do. But he said so many good things. And I'm gonna quote this because it's so good. So listen to this. It's all about choices. So it's fear or love. So when we allow the mistakes of others to manage us, so that's the running in the parking lot, the chopsticks on the face, the refusal to eat dinner, those are mistakes that then we allow to manage us and our emotions, to dislodge us from the goal of being loving and respectful. We are actually submitting to a spirit of fear. Which is true. You're like, oh, no, I'm not. I'm not scared. Yes, you are.
Dig deep.
You are scared. You are scared of your lack of control. Join the club, everybody, right? Like,
because for me, it's like, well, then what does that mean about me as a parent?
Yes.
I'm afraid I'm failing them.
Right. But guess what you're not doing? Failing them. You're not a failure. No.
They're not there to be controlled.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's in the practicing of self-control. So this is what it means for us.
Yes.
With self-control, when we are practicing self-control, that you can act like a wild banshee.
And you will.
Go ahead. Yes.
Daily, maybe.
There's no hope. There's
Take
hope.
a crying break. We'll be right back.
This break brought to you by Kleenex.
Yes.
The softest
Official tissue provider of the I Am Mother of the Year podcast.
Yes, the mascara wiper.
with the aloe.
So good.
Come on now.
Come on. Yep. Anyway, and we're back. And the point is that self-control in these moments of complete, like, the other person is out of control, meaning your child. Wild banshee, out of control. Guess what you can be?
Sorry.
In control. You can be in control, which I'm going to say, in case you had any delusions about this, that I am not good at this at all. So in case you're like, she has a podcast, she must be really good. I have not aced this. I'm saying this to myself. I might as well be on the other side of this conversation too, listening to my own words, because you know how hard it is for me to stay in control? And it's just outward control. There's no inward control. Every ounce of my inward control, when my daughter is saying the meanest things to me, goes to keep your mouth shut and keep your face calm. Keep your mouth shut and keep your face calm. Keep your mouth shut and keep your face calm. Right? Because I'm like, no. I'm like, oh, yeah.
You think that? Okay. Well.
Right. And to someone who's maybe new at this, it feels like losing. It feels like you're losing a battle, but guess what? You're not in the battle. This is not a battle. You don't have to sign up to be at war with your kids.
Yeah.
What you sign up for is allowing them natural consequences. It's okay if you want to say those words because you have control over the words you say.
And you're trying to express your emotions. You must be feeling frustrated right now.
Yeah. Bummer. Because when you calm down, I'm going to give you a really great consequence. It's going to be awesome.
Well, because, okay, a counselor one told me I was having some issues with my son as a toddler where he was taking the food off the plate, holding it over the edge, and I'm like, don't you do it. I had like cream light carpeting at this point in my apartment and red spaghetti sauce, and he'd make eye contact and drop it. And I was like, oh my God, not again. And I was like losing it. So I reached out for help, asked someone, She recommended 1, 2, 3 magic, but the whole point was they're like these little toddlers get these little stones and they go to calm water and they just throw a stone and see how the ripple effects, like how far can these waves cascade over this sea. And so they're like, then they'll take a bigger rock and a boulder and they're just gonna keep dumping huge rocks.
Why are you so mean to me?
I just love you. And they just want to see the ripple effect. It's like trial and error. They're testing their boundaries, especially as a toddler. They're learning you. Are you in control or am I in control?
Right.
As the toddler, they're going, well, I can control you because when I do this mean thing with my spaghetti, you get really mad and it's kind of fun to watch because it's cause and effect. They're learning about life and through you. And I'm like, what if you minimize the ripple effect? She's like, just don't get emotional. Easier said than done, but don't react. Say like, Jonah, mommy asked you not to do that. And then clean it up calmly. If you do it again, this. So you want to see a cause and effect? If you do it again, you're going to get this punishment. Because they want to see the reaction.
Yeah.
So when you, like you were saying, calm face, quiet mouth, when you calm your emotions, they're not seeing this huge reaction. And then it diffuses the emotion and they'll probably back off too of like, oh, well, that wasn't fun. I didn't get a huge ripple effect.
Yes, exactly. And one thing I want to bring you back to is you said they're learning control too.
Yes.
I can control myself now as a toddler. You're learning that. And I can control you.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, oh, I'm going to control you. Listen to me. And they're going, watch this, Mom.
Yeah. Oh, it got me every time.
You want to do it again? Oh, you see that?
What about 2 hands? You want a meatball on the floor? He's just flinging food all over the place.
And then,
Seriously,
So
be
that's why
the
it's hard.
example.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. There is a really good quote that
I
heard someone say once, and I think I posted it on social media about like when little people have big emotions, the big people don't have to join them in that.
No.
We can bring them and help them join us in our calm and our peace. So much easier said than done. But if we go back to that point, is like it's fear or it's love. So when we are in self-control, practicing self-control in those moments, we're practicing love and we're not giving into fear. And that is so important.
I just realized something. I hope I don't botch this because, surprise, surprise, I'm not a Bible scholar. But the fruits of the Spirit, isn't love the first one and self-control is the last one?
I think it's the last. I think, yes, they say when you get the fruits of the Spirit, you don't just get a couple fruits, you get all the fruits. Like when you have the Holy Spirit, it's here are the fruits. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness,
gentleness,
goodness, faithfulness,
and self-control.
Woo,
we made it.
But yeah, so I'm like, oh, well, I have love. I don't have self-control. No, that's not how it works. You have the Spirit. You have access to all of those things. So if you feel limited in that, it's already inside of you. If you have the Holy Spirit living in you, you've got it.
It's there.
You might need to flex that muscle.
Yeah. Tap into it. It's like an untapped resource right now.
Right. But it's in there. And we believe that you can handle that biz.
Yeah. Can I just say something about self-control really fast?
Please.
To any mamas out there who have the strength of discipline, I see you. I'm with you. I'm type A. We did strengths finders. And seriously, one of my top 5 is discipline. So when I first thought about this topic, I'm like, well, no, I can't control my kid. But when it comes to self-control, I'm like, ooh, I have some of that in my life. So again, on the surface, I'm like, check. I have discipline. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And then I sat in that. And then I was convicted.
Oh, that's fun.
And it was like, that's cool. You think you're doing good? Let's dig a little lower.
Let me stop you there and say you're doing good.
Oh, okay, sorry. But not I'm not acing self-control.
There you go.
That was like
there's
my
a difference.
Little thought for a moment.
Yeah.
Like I could do this. I have discipline. Look at my test results. I have strength finders. But it was like if you dig beneath the surface, how are you handling that beast inside of you called anger? And I was like, well, not great. Because of those moments in parenting. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, you can be disciplined, but that's way different than the really hard trials and tribulations your kids and parenting might put you through, and you might see it manifest in different ways. And I'm just saying, dig deep. If you think you're doing all great acing it with flying colors, self-control, to really dig deep dig deep and look at all those other ways. Because what's ironic is for me with my little teeny tiny control issue, and like that's probably the hardest thing. How ironic that I can't control my need to control. I'm like, wait, that's so backwards.
It's so many things. It's too many things.
Right. Controlled by the self-control.
It's the control of the control.
Yes.
Yeah, and we can't do it.
No.
So let's just focus on controlling ourselves.
Yes.
Which brings me to our next thing from Danny Silk again, for the win.
Mm-hmm.
Our words are spirit, and we carry vision for our kids. We carry it in our hearts and in our lives. We carry what it is that we want for them to have. So that's just, that's big. But what that means is in our kids' worst moments, if we're holding up the mirror to them and saying, look at this. You're in your worst moment. I can't believe you. I'm so mad at you. You can feel all those things, and probably rightfully so. But when we show that to our kids, if they're here, they're down here now. We're not helping them.
No, they might feel shame now.
Right.
Of like, I did a bad thing. I'm a bad person.
Right. They're going to internalize it, start believing lies about themselves. And so this is so hard. And I'm trying this with my daughter, Josie. She's 5 going on 17. Like literally the door slamming. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Like, Mom, you're stupid. What?
I'm sorry. I said to Jonah with the whole control thing, I'm like, why didn't you say, okay, Mommy? That has somehow turned to, yes, Mother. And I'm like, so that's like synonymous with yes and okay and mommy and mother, but teenager.
Right, teenager.
Why?
No, exactly. Yes. But in some of her worst moments, I'm already noticing her self-esteem wavering. And it's so painful to watch.
A girl,
and
your
so,
daughter.
yes, in her worst moments, she can say the worst things to me. And believe me, she does. The absolute worst things that I won't even repeat because it just breaks my heart. I try I'm so used to it now too, because it's been an onslaught of these negative emotions and spirals and things like that for a while now. So I think that helps. Time's on my side. Yay. But I try to look at her and go, you're too awesome to act like this. You have control over your words, but I know that your words are too sweet to say these things. And so just trying to help her in this moment. I'm not condoning her behavior, but I'm saying there's nothing you could say or do that's going to make me love you any less. But I think you're more awesome than this. You are better than this. You're so creative and gifted and funny. And so I start telling her all of these things about herself. She doesn't go, oh, thanks, Mom, you're right. And we hug for hours and then we snuggle and we eat cookie dough on the couch. No, it's, I hate you, Mom. You don't know anything. And slam the door. But I know that sinks in later.
Yeah.
I'm believing for it.
If you're consistent in that, that's just going to lift her. And she's going to start believing the truth about herself instead of those lies.
Right. And that's the gift. Like, that's the gift we can give our kids is, are we being helpful or are we being hurtful in those horrible moments?
Which is so hard. But that's where the self-control comes in. Because you're like, how do I do that when I'm just seeing red?
Right.
Like, mommy, time out. Or if you need to go cool down, if you need to like, just take a minute.
Yeah.
And then assess what's going on. Like, why do I feel the need to control you right now?
Yeah.
How could I like shift that around and put it back on you to like, I'm going to control the way that I love you in this moment.
Yes. So it's asking yourself the question, which we're so busy. We go from one thing to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing, that so many of us, and I'm guilty of this too, don't stop to think deeply about why. We rarely ask ourselves the question, why? So what we want you to do is ask yourself the question, why do I feel out of control?
Yeah, pay attention.
Start paying attention
to what's happening.
Right.
And like, cause a lot of these things happen when you're multitasking. It's you're driving, you're trying to figure out which turn do I turn here? Is that detour closed? Is there road construction? It's when they're yelling in the back seat that you're not going, let me just assess my situation in this vehicle right now and the kicking that's happening in the back of my seat.
Right.
But pay attention and ask her, just take a minute.
Right. Yeah. And if you practice that. It's just getting started with that question. And there's tons more to unpack in this conversation, which is exactly why we started the I Am Mother of the Year podcast. And so we'll get to all those things. And if there's something that you want to talk about, absolutely let us know, because this is a conversation about motherhood. And we are so glad that you've joined us for this episode. Good luck on your self-control. You can do it.
And ironically, there's freedom when you do. I mean, it's the
freedom.
opposite of control. When you do surrender, there's so much freedom for you and for your kids. So in case no one else tells you today, we want to let you know.
You're a really, really good mom.
Thanks for listening to the I Am Mother of the Year podcast with Lisa and Jen. If you love what you hear and want insider access to more conversations just like these, exclusive Mother of the Year merch, and access to the I Am Mother of the Year podcast one day early, join the growing community of patrons who support our movement at patreon.com/I Am Mother of the Year. Talk to you next week.